Hello everyone, welcome in to Talladega Superspeedway tonight. It's the PGR Money Racing Intimidator Superspeedway Series. It is the SIMBOX 110 and you are watching it here on Ghost Racing Network with the Green Ghost. Let's get right into your race info as drivers are gridding up here. We'll get your starting lineup next. As we just noted, we are at Talladega Superspeedway. Wind's not going to be a big factor at 7 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies, humidity at 44%, and we are in the upper 70s. In terms of temperature. Let's get right to your starting grid as these guys are going to have a lot on their hands tonight. Humongous field. Biggest field so far, in fact, for the PGR Series. And starting on the pole for it tonight, man that was able to run the fastest time around this place is going to be Steve Korosek. Not too surprised there. This is starting to become a habit for Steve. Steve putting down a lot of fast laps, starting to his outside. Look who's in here. Usually we see him promoting, doing race control, but Jimmy Crow starting on pole in the outside row. Third is going to be Zachary Lima. Fourth, Richard Sanchez. Row 3 is going to be Cody Niegels. 6th, Matt Lee. 7th, Sean Hill. 8th, Sean Corbett. 9th is going to be Ian Martin. Row 5 on the outside, Ron Morris Jr. 11th, Mike Davenport. We have McCall Motorsports driver in 12th. Ken McCall Jr. behind him in 13th. It's going to be John Mullahan. 14th, Matt Hutchinson. 15th, it's going to be Danny Esch. 16th, Jay Degart. 17th is going to be Mark Von Dell. 18th, David Sheets. Moving further back in the field, row 10 is going to be made up of J.R. Miller and Josh Bonwell. J.R., a new PGR teammate. We'll keep an eye on that. 22nd is going to be the owner of PGR out here racing. That's Michael Triscaro. 23rd, James Kaufman. 24th, Michael Eden. 25th, Braxton Louise. I'm sure he'll have a lot of fans out here tonight. 26th, Chad Ross. 27th is going to be Ambrose Knievel. 28th, William H. Scott. And Michael Kirk takes 29th, and that is a huge field for Thursday night. I'm telling you, this is going to get wild really quick. I'm very excited. I don't know. I haven't been this excited in a couple broadcasts. Not that I necessarily have favorites, but I'm telling you, this is going to be a really crazy race, and we are getting geared up and ready to go. Pace car working its way through 3 and 4, and you see it here. Steve Korosek already saving a little bit of fuel. I don't know that necessarily going to need to, but we almost like see him do this every race, so nothing necessarily new. But let me tell you something. The 27 and Zachary Lima, who is going to be starting right behind him, that is a dangerous, dangerous duo. We see these guys manage to pull away from everyone else time and time again. We'll see if they can do it tonight. You see it on your scoring tower, a little bit more of a mix of cars tonight. Good distribution of Chevys and Fords with a couple Toyotas in between. We're getting ready to go racing here in the SIMBOX 110. If you're just joining in, get ready. These guys rolling up to the restart zone now. Steve Korosek finds second gear. Green flag is out. We're racing at Talladega. Pretty even restart here. This race is going to be 42 laps tonight. That is how you get your 110 at this big 2.66 mile super speedway oval. Not going to be able to make it all the way on fuel. Remember, there is no scheduled stages or cautions, so everybody going to have to be a little careful here. It looks like we do have a blinker farther back. 3 wide, though, already. James Kaufman is like trying to make a move around someone. I couldn't tell exactly who it was. Sorry, that is actually the 510. They had similar paint schemes. It's going to be Richard Sanchez. Behind him is Matt Lee. Good to see Matt Lee back. How about it? Mr. GOAT, they call him. He is one of the greatest drivers that we've seen in here, but had a rough race before this from what I've heard, so he's looking to rebound as we see Sean Hill jumping to the top lane, but Steve Korosek, Zachary Lima out in front. You got to believe neither of these two are going to make a move on each other as Steve Korosek takes lap 1. And just like that, look how spread out the field has gotten already. Some of these guys about half to a second back. It looks like, unfortunately, Josh Bonwell has had issues not able to make it out on track. Michael Eden currently running around in the back here in the 18 machine. Playing it safe right now. Got to assume at least just waiting to get up here. William H. Scott. Michael Kirk. I don't know if I've seen Michael out here. A new driver. Good to see him out. Driver of the 54. In front of him is Jimmy Crow. Saw Jimmy qualify up front, but he got shuffled out in a hurry. Fell all the way to the back. That may have been by choice. Either way, he's going to drop right behind Ambrose Knievel here. And they're going to ride around for a couple laps. Oh, and actually Jimmy's pitting here, it looks like. Not sure what the issue is here for the 16. Sure enough, Jimmy Crow into pit road early on only lap 3. See if we can maybe get a ride on board, see if anything sounds amiss in that car. I am not too sure, but see if we can get an update later on what happened to Jimmy there. We'll see if he is just parking it or if he decides to make his way back out later. Go back up front, take a ride on board with Steve Korsak behind him. A good pusher, Zachary Lima, but it looks like they have switched it up a little bit now because Steve Korsak, you see it, has jumped to the outside. Zachary Lima now leads the bottom. Behind him is Cody Niegels in the 6. Sean Hill maybe gave a big push to that 27 as you see a little bit of damage on his rear bumper. These guys not shying away from contact and aggressive pushing here early. Bumper to bumper as we complete lap 4 of 42. We haven't done one early in a while, so let's do a little bit of an earlier crank it up. Here we go. And that is going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy up front. It's still Steve Korsak and Zachary Lima. Nothing changed there. Sean Hill, Cody Niegels in the second row. Looks like we do have a couple people that topped in the chat. Want to say hi to everybody that's coming out. John Ward, how's it going? Chris DeWeese, Kerry Hopkins, good to see you all out here. Let's take a look through the field a little bit. Check on how some of these guys are doing. We got Mike Davenport in the 55 and 9th. Just inside the top 10 Team PGR driver, and it looks like right now he is the only Team PGR driver in the top 10. We have to go a little bit further back to find his two teammates tonight. One of them is Michael Triscaro, of course, but another one, new added, if you will, teammate to that Team PGR is going to be J.R. Miller, who's actually in 9th now. He's actually a little bit ahead of Mike Davenport, but yes, J.R. Miller in that 78 machine found himself a team, and here he is going 3 wide on the top lane off of 4. 6 laps down. These guys wasting no time. I'm a little shocked that they're getting this aggressive so early because usually when we have that pit stop, everybody stays 2 wide at most. Just stay back, save yourself a little fuel. The less you have to take, the better. These guys sitting back. I think I like to be in these positions. We see Ken McCall Jr. in the 03, sitting behind his teammate Ron Morris Jr. Going even further back, James Kaufman, Danny Eshelman. How about Braxton DeWeese sitting in 25th right now? He is also one of these drivers riding around. I believe last time we saw him out in a money race, he got the win. Yeah, sure enough, I believe so. We'll see if he can repeat, but up front, 2 Dale Cup drivers. Boy, good luck. Nobody's been able to do anything for him. It looks like that 3 wide lane being led right now by J.R. Miller. Not making a ton of progress. You can see they're trying to slowly creep up. He does have Michael Triscaro behind him. They have a 3rd car, maybe even a 4th car. Looks like the 90, Matt Hutchinson, the 65, Curtis Rogers, also trying to join the train to the front, but no progress really being made. We do see 2x2, but if you look here, we'll pull up the track map for you on the top right. That field's a big cluster, and then you see that one single car out. That is going to be Jimmy Crow, who we assume must have had issues. Currently sitting a lap down, so if we get a caution, he will be able to get that lap back. We'll have to see if it plays out for Jimmy. Chris says yes, he was the winner. See, you got a pretty good memory going on there. I haven't seen Braxton in quite a few broadcasts. We'll see if he can get it done again tonight. The 5'10", Richard Sanchez, always another strong runner out here. Here he is, dicing up in the middle of the packs. It looks like the 78 finally starting to draw near to the front. We'll see if Sean Hill maybe thinks about jumping out. Nothing just yet. And And this big pack a little bit separated further back. Those guys still just sitting back. William H. Scott, the last car in the pack right now. Right in front of him is Michael Eden, Braxton Deweese, Chad Ross, James Kaufman, Michael Kirk. Right up in the gearbox, one of these guys closer to the front. There you go. Look at the push. Getting aggressive early on. It seems the speeds these guys are running. 189 here in the draft. 191 into turn 3. And those speeds will pick up a little bit as the laps go on, because the harder they push, the faster they're going to go. And you see it there. The 27 has a little bit more damage than I think I initially thought that he had. Doesn't seem to be affecting, but oh, here we go. We're going to see our first round of pit stops. Oh, and it looks like Ken McCall Jr. locks him up heavy. I don't know that he necessarily got in there without speeding. These guys a little bit more used to the truck series. All of a sudden you come over to these Xfinity cars, they're a lot harder to slow down. And I feel like initially you might be a little surprised that they're pitting this early, but you got to remember these Xfinity cars can make 30 to 35 laps-ish on a fuel run, and the earlier you pit, if you can get with your teammates, the better. And if none of these guys got a penalty, they're going to be fast right here. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's go back up front, see if we see any more pit stops this time. But they are 3x3 up front. J.R. Miller almost took the lead. Looks like Michael Triscaro fell off his bumper a little bit. And out of turn 4, we will see if anybody decides to follow. They saw a big group pit last time. Will it draw anybody down? It doesn't. Steve Korsak, Sean Hill, of course, one of those McCall Motorsports drivers, wasn't able to come down with his teammates. If they decide to go with the long route here, stay out for a while, as it looks like, unfortunately for Mark Vondel, wasn't quite able to stick with his teammates. You see him getting up to speed now. Jimmy Crow also trying to catch on the back of this draft. Doesn't look like he's going to quite have enough. Ron Morris Jr., Ken McCall Jr., David Sheets, they know it's time to get to work. They're going to try to catch this pack. We'll see if they can do it. Actually, what we'll do here is we'll go up to the back car in this pack, which currently is Michael Eden. The gap sits at 34.5 seconds. It currently is extending. That is because these guys aren't technically caught all the way up to the draft, so maybe we'll look at it from a little bit more of a... We really can't right now, so we'll just watch it as it goes. Steve Korsak, gotta wonder if he gets clear. Will he drop back down in front of Zachary Lima, knowing there's a pit stop? Is he going to try to stay high and run this thing till it's dry? We'll have to see. Looks like the pack still maintaining solid energy as they are working their way up to the lap car to 59 of Mark Vondel. He is going to try to drop in line into the back of this pack if he can. Sean Hill, Cody Neagle side by side. It looks like 59 is just going to hop off the track altogether respectively. Sees the leaders 3 wide. Doesn't want any part of it. Wise choice there from the driver, the 59. And he is going to be racing the 16 of Jimmy Crow for that lucky dog. Mark Vondel right now does have the advantage, though. And you see up top, looks like Michael Triscaro is getting a little wobbly. A lot of these guys starting to get a little bit more wiggly as these laps go on. Tires starting to wear out. Driver's starting to feel it. 12 laps through of the 42 so far. We still got 12 laps before we're going to be halfway. Actually, a little bit less than 12. About the run here from Ian Martin. Got himself up inside, just outside of actually the top 5. This 98 machine, but third car on the bottom line. Really good one. Really good run rather for the driver out of Timberlake, North Carolina. Ian's one of these guys that knows how to get it done. Doesn't really have any teammates, not tonight that I know of. But I don't think he's going to need him. He knows how to get it done, especially at these plate tracks. We saw some street stock racing from him last night. I was in that very fun event. Let's take a look now at the gap back here from Ron Morris Jr. to William Scott. It looks like it is now at 36 seconds, so they are currently losing time in that little 3-car pack. And they are hoping these guys pit. I'm a little shocked. I know the different series work different, but usually you'd expect when these guys are 3 wide, they wouldn't be able to run quite as fast as a little 3-wide draft that's bumper to bumper, but sure enough, they are running faster. As you see the 27 stacking back up to back bumper of the 12, Sean Hill. Everybody still fighting hard for position, and once these guys are starting to run low on fuel, they're going to have to think about getting down. When do you want to go? Ooh, wow, a lot of movement down the back right there. Oh, Sean Hill's trying to keep it together. Looks like he does. Boy, that got scary for a minute. Duck Duck Goose says, good evening. Hi, Duck Duck. How's it going? Oh, Ian Martin's on the apron, though. The 98 looks like he is going to decide to have to come down pit road this time because of it. No, it looks could not tell. Let's see if we can find Ian here. There he is. Looks like he kept it on the track. Good save by the driver of the 98. Being in the front, even though he had to make that save, he is still able to stay in the draft. As you see him going by the 16 again. Jimmy Crow Jr. Jimmy Crow now 2 laps down. That keeps Mark Vondell in the lucky dog position, but up front, 3 by 3, 3 rows deep, and then we got some 2 wide action. Mike Davenport, oh, looks like we just had someone get in the wall. That was the 90, Matt Hutchinson, but I was just going to say Mike Davenport currently 3rd on that bottom line. He is not linked up with his Team PGR teammates. I think they really could use him right now, but they're not going to be able to get to him. And his top lane has fallen from 4 to 5 cars, which we saw a little bit earlier, down to 3 cars. We'll see how much longer they can make the momentum work. But Zachary Lima still leading the way. He's got Steve Korsek to his outside. Cody Neagles 2nd. On that inside, Sean Hill 4th. 2nd on the outside. Let's go back, see how the McCall Motorsports group is doing. Ron Morse Jr. still leading the way. Ken McCall Jr., you better believe he's not lifting. They can't seem to quite generate the speed they need. We can ride on board with them right here. Let's also take a look at the dashboard speed down the front stretch. You see about 180 in the corner, riding as close as he can to his teammate's bumper. Remember, can't really push in the corner. Maybe you dare to try it late in the race. But early on, in this case, Ken McCall not thinking about pushing in the corners or the trial, but just trying to stay as close as he can. Then once they get to the short chute, here we go. Gonna try to get back to the bumper, giving little shots to his teammate. Looks like they get to 190. Let's compare that to the speeds up front. Steve Korsek, 187 right now through the trial, but remember he is in the middle lane. Looks like he is also going to be able to get to about 190 here, maybe a little less. So why don't we take a look at the lap time to see if we're getting any gain yet. Steve Korsek, we pull up his lap times here for you. And let me actually take this off so everybody can see it okay. Pay attention to those last 2 lap times. That is what's going to be important right here. Looks like it's going to be a 59 and a 51.0. Let's go back and compare that to the trio called Motorsports. They have completed their pit stops. They might make some time up on it. We'll see what they run here. Last lap was a 51.1, so they are going to have to be able to run a little bit faster. They're not too far off, but it's just not quite enough. Let's see what it was that time. There you go, another 51.1, so just not making enough time right now. I think they're going to need a caution at this point to be able to get back up. And I'll tell you what, if they could see what's going on up here, they might like where they're at, because these guys are going at it door to door. We still could see a caution with 25 laps to go. Everybody is in the fuel window if they decide to pit. We did see some early pitters, but since those 3 cars pitted, a lot of times we'll see everybody follow that first group that goes down. They'll go the next lap or even lap after that. Not the case though right now. These guys continue to stay out. The more laps they run, the less fuel they'll have to take too, especially the ones further back in the draft. But Steve Korsek and Zachary Lima have been leading the way from the drop of the green, and they are still leading the way. The 78, J.R. Miller, has gotten pretty close to the front, not quite been able to get his nose all the way out in front, though. And how about the 666, Sean Corbett? Haven't said anything about Sean yet tonight. Doing a good job right here in the middle of this pack. John Mullahan, about 2 rows behind him. Team 3 SimCar owner, and Team 3 does have a couple drivers in here tonight. Chad Ross in the 38, leader of Team 3. James Kaufman in the 25, another Team 3 driver there, right just behind Braxton Louise, who currently sits 17th. And let's talk about your top 5 running. I think you know the top 2 by this point, but we'll let you know anyway. Zachary Lima first, Steve Korsek second, Cody Neagles third, Sean Hill fourth, and Mike Davenport rounding out that top 5 spot. At the 510, Richard Sanchez still fighting hard for it. Everybody continues to stay out, and they can go about 30 to 35 laps. I don't know if we'll necessarily see them run it quite that long. I think maybe just under 10 to go at the longest is when we'll start seeing guys come down pit road, take their fuel. Not going to take any tires, though, unless we get a caution. They don't need enough fuel to where they're going to take them. If you take them, you're just risking losing too much time. However, if we do get that caution, which a lot of times we see at the end of these things, could see a couple guys come back down pit road, take a couple tires, and I'll tell you what, that outside wall must be a little stickier than usual today, because we have seen quite a few drivers getting into it on the backstretch. We just saw the 34 Michael Trasquero bump it right there. Seems like a couple of them, once they tag it once, they tag it a couple more times before they're able to fully get off of it. Still 3x3 though with 22 laps to go. McCall Motorsports hoping these guys would hurry up and pit, or that we can get a caution. They need some help. They're just not getting it right now. The gap sits at 36.6 seconds. Still currently extending too, as we see Michael Eden, the last car in this lead pack. Ron Morris Jr. still leading. Ken McCall Jr. pushing his teammate, and David Sheets, the third car in that line. Looks like Mark Vondell blinking a little bit. Currently sitting a lap down at 27th, and then Jimmy Crow. Not been his night so far. Not sure exactly what happened early, but we've seen him already go down pit road twice. And he's currently sitting 2 laps down. Josh Bonwell not able to make the race. For reasons that we haven't exactly figured out just yet. But I'll tell you what, while these guys are still racing, let's take a quick moment to head over to our announcements page, which actually isn't fully working, but either way, we'll let you know. Tomorrow, Ghost Racing Network will be broadcasting Dale Cup Superspeedway Series. Go check it out. That is going to be good. Those are some of the best racers in super speedway racing that you can find. 2 of our very own that we are watching tonight are going to be in that, and that's going to be Steve Korsek and Zachary Lima. We go back live, take a look at where they're at. Currently first and second. Very excited to be broadcasting Dale Cup tomorrow. Don't miss it. That race should be starting about 10. I know he had sent me the time. Should be 10, I believe, unless I'm missing something. Yep. 10:10 as race starts. The broadcast should be up somewhere around 10:05. Up front, same top 2. Further back, J.R. Miller still working that third lane. Boy, he has not given up on it, but he's just not quite been able to get to the front with it. He's stuck with his teammate, Michael Triscaro. I think if maybe they had Mike Davenport as well, they'd make a little bit more progress. Team PGR been putting out some Facebook posts. They were looking for drivers to join their crew, and sure enough, they found one in the 78, and I think they must like their choice right now, as he is putting it to these guys leading that top line. Let's take a look at the track map real quick. You can see a little bit of a spread. This big pack working their way out of turn 2 down the backstretch. That is the lead pack. Then you see the McCall Motorsports pack. Actually, here's what we'll do. The McCall Motorsports pack, of course, just about entering the tri-oval. There you go. In front of them, Mark Vondell. And also Jimmy Crow. These 2 trying not to go any more laps down if they can help it. The lead pack is chasing them down in quite a hurry. I don't know how much longer they can go. Remember, this lead pack, everyone up here still got to pit on fuel. Big run all of a sudden from the outside to 78. J.R. Miller does poke a nose out in front and maybe even led that lap. Looked like Michael Triscaro gave him a huge push all the way to the front. Had to back off for JR to catch it. Sean Hill, that wakes him up. Cody Neagles, they're both going to get right back to work, pushing on the bumper, the 13 and the 27. Just like that, the big run is neutralized. The 6, Cody Neagles, having a really strong run. Going to be hopping in a test session after this, where we'll be testing some cars that hopefully we might see in some of these money racings. More to come on that potentially. We'll have to see how everything pans out. The driver at Rolla, Missouri. Here he is running second. Good position right now. Remember, it is a top 5 payout. And as long as I heard everything right, winner should be going home with $150 tonight. A lot of payouts. And that's what you get when you get these big fields. Remember, we had 29 drivers tonight. You might as well call it 30. These guys have been putting on a show since the green flag has dropped. 18 laps to go. Still no pit stops yet. Danny Eshelman, he is sitting back here with Braxton DeWeese, James Kaufman, Chad Ross, Ian Martin, Ambrose Kniebel, William H. Scott, and it looks like Michael Eden has fallen off the lead draft here. He is 4 seconds behind. Falling in a hurry, though. Unfortunately, when you lose the draft, all of a sudden, feels like you lost 10 miles an hour. That's pretty much because you did. But let's talk about the strategy that I think some of these guys, such as Braxton DeWeese, Danny Eshelman, James Kaufman, are playing out. They're watching these guys go 3 wide up front. Staying back here, they get a couple things. First of all, they're going to miss any potential wreck if it happens. But the thing that I'm really paying attention to is they are saving a lot more fuel than the rest of the pack running back here. And while they won't be able to make it, they will have to pit no matter what. That'll be less fuel they'll have to take, and that is where they can make up their track position. I think I'd rather have the track position coming off pit road, because that is when the real race is going to be on. The race is on for 3 of these drivers already. They've been working together. It looks like this pack has grown a little bit unfortunately not so tight together. They are now 37 seconds behind that lead pack, maybe closing just a little bit, but I don't know if they're going to be able to make up the deficit that they lost, which was about 4 seconds, maybe 4 to 5 seconds on this lead pack so far. That gap still has time to extend even more every lap that this pack runs out in front. For 3 wide, they have been running very clean, very fast. So we like to see. Let's ride on board with somebody in the middle of this pack here. About Michael Triscaro trying to push his teammate. Knows he can't quite push him in the corner, but he's trying to get really close. You hear him burping the throttle. As soon as they get out of the turn, he's going to give him a little shot. Try to link on, push all the way down the backstretch. These Xfinity cars can do it a little bit better than the trucks. There it is. Finds the back of the 78. It's not going to release until they get down to turn 3, and then you'll hear him get out of it. You see he's kind of got a handful with that 34 machine right now. He's got to be careful, though, keeping it up in that 3rd lane. Richard Sanchez in the 510. Driver out of San Antonio. Riding behind Sean Hill. You see it. My driving scares me, too, on the 12. How about Matt Hutchinson having a good run in the 93rd car on that top line. Matt Lee, Mr. Goat. Here he is riding behind the 666 car. All these guys burping the throttle. That's saving them a little bit of fuel as well. You know who you won't hear burping the throttle is your leader. Perks of that is he has the best view in the house. If they wreck, there's a pretty good chance the wreck's going to be behind him. Of course, he could get in it, but I always thought being up front is the safest spot to be. That's where he runs right now. 15 laps to go. McCall Motorsports still waiting on this group to pit to see if their fate has already been determined. Zachary Lima, Steve Korosek. We'll see if they can come out of pit road as good as they are looking like they're going to go in. Ooh, looks like 78 washed up the track, keeps it together. But this pit road stop is going to be very important. You can't mess it up. We talk about it a lot of times, but in races like this where there's a lot of money on the line, pressure is at a high. You only have 1 pit stop. You know that. You know that you have to come out with that lead draft to have a chance. And even if you speed just a mile an hour over, a penalty is a penalty, and it can ruin your race. You don't want to get trapped a lap down. Looks like currently we still have, I believe it was 25 cars, maybe 26 cars still on the lead lap. Yep, 25 cars on the lead lap. Michael Eden has gone a lap down. Mark Von Dell 1 down. Jimmy Crow 2 down, and Josh Bonwell. Solomon practiced, but unfortunately, due to an issue, has not been able to start the race. Back, McCall Motorsports, still Ron Morris Jr. in 1st, Ken McCall Jr. 2nd, David Sheets 3rd, Mark Von Dell, one of their teammates, of course, a lap down, and Jimmy Crow, the other car, laps down, is 2 laps down. Three by 3, here we go, the 78's trying to get a run back up front. One of the trends that we have started to see in some of these money races more than we used to is guys getting risky enough to take it 4 wide, and it paying off, too. Remember, here at Talladega, you see it down the backstretch here. There is enough room to go 4 wide, but boy, it gets really, really tight. Oh, we got 1 turn. That's Cody Neagles into the outside wall. Looks like everyone else is able to dodge him. Caution is out. The 6 slides around. Wow, I'm amazed that everyone missed him. First caution of the night, and this one's going to save McCall Motorsports. Let's take a look at what happened to the driver of the 6. He was tucked in line, 2nd on the inside, pushing Zachary Lima. And I think this could be a case of pushing the pusher. Let's take a look at it from the chopper view. Oh, and you see it right here. Looks like Mike Davenport's already getting a little too close for comfort. We'll play it slow for you here. 55 on the back bumper of the 6. The 6 trying to push the 13 eventually. Just hooks him. He was offset. You can't push the pusher. That sends him up into the 510. Cody Neagles gets spun around by the 510 up into the 90, but it looks like maybe net coated through. Good news for him. And then backs that thing into the Talladega super stretch. And he's got some damage on the back. Thankfully, nothing really in the front. Actually, maybe just a little bit there. Yep, actually, that right side hood is crumpled a bit, so he's definitely going to have to work on this 6 machine. Good news is none of the rest of the field was involved in it. Let's ride on board here with the 6. It looked like he almost held on to it. That would have been very impressive, all things considered. This thing's not easy to hold on to when you initially get spun. Here we go, let's ride on board with Cody. You saw it there. I think if the 510 isn't there, nothing on Richard Sanchez. Just saying that 3x3, that's what happens when someone makes a mistake. But That 510 wasn't there. I think Cody maybe saves that. Good job either way, though, minimizing the damage, keeping anybody else from getting involved. And now we're going to see everybody in this lead pack come down pit road. They're going to take fuel, maybe even tires. And actually, just as I say that, you know, yep, there he is, Steve Korsak. I was going to say, is that Steve still on the track? It is not. That is going to be the 57. Jay Degart, Matt Lee, riding from back. Let's go back to pit road here, though. Steve Korsak looks like he is going to win the race off, followed by Zachary Lima. That's going to be the 510. Richard Sanchez. The 666. Sean Corbett. Braxton DeWeese. A couple of the Team PGR drivers. Cody Neagle's coming out there. We'll have to see if he used... Actually, let's check him out. Let's see if he used his fast repair here. Sure enough, he did. Remember, everybody does get one fast repair. I think maybe I would have liked to have seen him hold on to it a little bit longer. So I don't know if we're necessarily done with cautions just yet. We'll have to find out. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go to break real quick. We'll be back. Stick with us. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. We have found one of the guys dominating early on, and that was none other than Zachary Lima. Zach, you got a copy?
10-4, yes I do.
Well, you and Steve, you guys look like the class of the field right now, but what's it going to take to get this thing done, get in victory lane?
You know, I don't know. I'm guessing, I'm hoping we can just shoot to the front and maybe start controlling the race, but I don't know if we'll be able to get down, so who knows.
Well, I was just going to say, you guys were so far out in front. Now it looks like you're a little bit farther back. Going to have to do a little bit of work to get all the way back up there. Is there any chance you're thinking of maybe sitting back here, potentially avoiding a wreck, or are you going to go for it?
Knowing how me and Steve are, we're most likely going to go for it right when the green comes out, hammer down, and try to get back to the front.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck in that. Hopefully I'll see you in victory lane later tonight.
I'm hoping.
All right. That was Zachary Lima. We'll let them get back to it. I'll hop back over to the broadcast channel as these guys are getting ready to go back green. If I can find the broadcast channel here. There we go. Always cool to get these in-race interviews from some of these drivers, see what the mindset is out there in the pack. I'm telling you, I don't think that is the most stressful interview we've seen so far. 10 to go, though. That is not a lot of laps for this big of a field. It looks like Michael Eden did get the lucky dog. That's going to now put Mark Vondel in prime position. I did get confirmation from Jimmy Crow. He did get a black flag, unfortunately, for jumping the start by 1 mile an hour over. Hate to hear that, but that is what unfortunately ruined Jimmy's night. We'll see if maybe he can somehow make a comeback here, depending on just how crazy this thing starts to get. Pace car pulls off. Top 5, Jay Degart, Matt Lee, John Mullahan, James Kaufman, Chad Ross. Who's going to get the better push here? The backstretch on this first lap is going to be crucial. Into the trial with a 57. Has the field in tow. I don't think that's going to be our last yellow. These guys are about to get crazy. We saw 3. Will we see 4? Green flag back out at Talladega. 9 laps to go. And you see another dead even restart, but this time James Kaufman finds the bumper of Matt Lee quicker than the 7 of John Mullihan can get to the 57. Now Mullihan's there. Good run, by the way, by Mullihan, making his way back up here. Down the backstretch, though. Can they outside get the run? Matt Lee tries to get a little side draft. Now he pulls up further back. Here comes Ken McCall Jr. in the 03. Looks like he's going to get Steve Korsek behind him. Richard Sanchez goes as well. Now we see Cody Niegels jump up top. And just like that, we are back to 3x3. Looks like James Kaufman can't block even if he wants to too late. Will we see Matt Lee think about going to this 3rd lane, or does he stay down low? Up front, the 57 still leading. What is John Mullihan thinking about doing? Into the trial. Well, this is the sketchiest part. This is where these guys really bump around. Oh, Ken McCall Jr. now jumps down to the middle. Good push from Steve Korsek, and just like that, the 27 sees clean air again, gets back out in front. He's getting a push from Richard Sanchez. Down into turn 1, working their way through turn 2. Steve Korsek getting a lot of help right now from the 510. If he can get clear, I think he's going to try to jump down a lane. Ken McCall Jr., if he gets clear, will he also think about jumping down a lane? He is also getting a big shot from Matt Lee in the 04. There goes Steve Korsek down to the middle. Richard Sanchez up top. Jay Degart on the bottom. Ooh, Ken McCall Jr., you saw wiggle up just a little bit. These guys aren't cutting each other any breaks. And look who else has made their way up here. He's ready to go. It's Braxton DeWeese in the 15. Ian Martin, the 13, Zachary Lima. You see him. He's the 4th car on that outside. Chad Ross, another Team 3 driver. He is also up here. And further back, it is just a hornet's nest. Guys fighting for whatever they can get right now. Team 3 has 2 cars on the bottom, 2 in the middle lane, but they're not leading right now. Steve Korsek is. Richard Sanchez still leads up top. 3x3. Nobody dare take it 4 wide yet, but we might see it later on. As next time we will take 6 laps to go. The field's still looking pretty docile, but man, so these guys are getting really out of shape. Into turn 3, Ken McCall Jr. is going to drop to the bottom. Steve Korsek to the middle. Oh, we got him wrecking Matt Lee's around. This is going to collect quite a few of them. More contact. The 04 on the wall, the 90's in it. Matt Lee slides down. Danny Eshelman's in it. Michael Eden. Ambrose Kniebel in the 04 car. A lot of damage to the front end. He is most definitely going to have to go in and use a fast repair. You see it. Wow. No deck lid or bumper cover. The 57. He's smoking. He's got a lot of damage. Michael Eden's able to get it back rolling. Mike Davenport. He's got damage on the front end. Danny Eshelman was in it. Sean Corbett. Nowhere to go. And Ambrose Kniebel. Let's go back and see what happens. This one looks like it collected a handful plus a couple more. Maybe even close to 10 drivers involved in this one. Let's back it up. As you see, it's already happened right here. Take a look at this from a different view. Let's see if we can get a good shot from TV1. It looks like this is going to start somewhere with Matt Lee. Not exactly sure what happened. Here we go. Let's take a look at it. Watch the 57 on the bottom. Looks like Richard Sanchez comes down a little bit. Ooh, the 57 though. That's Jay Dargert coming up the track. Makes contact with Matt Lee. That turns the 04 around, and then it's on from here. Matt Lee gets down his teammate. The 07 nowhere to go. Chad Ross, another Team 3 driver, gets up into him. Bad situation for Team 3 as a lot of guys got into it. The 90 gets up. Wow, does a wheelie. Rides the wall here for a little bit. Oh my goodness. Wild ride there. Further back. Oh, the 57. Got a shot from behind. Turns him up into the wall. Nowhere to go here. J.R. Miller, and now the 04 sliding back down. Danny Eshelman, Ambrose Kniebel slide in. Nowhere to go. Let's take one more look at this. Take a look at it this time from the blimp cam, or chopper view actually. Take a look at it here, yeah, from the chopper view, I think. Just that slight bobble from the 57 is all it took, and these guys are going to start piling up. There you go, boom, 04's around, back up the track. Just like that, a lot of these guys' nights could be over on, or thankfully, that first caution we had, only one driver was involved. That was Cody Niegels, who was not involved in this one. So he does A lot of these drivers do have a fast pair, so I think they'll be okay. Let's go to the 90 of Matt Hutchinson. Let's take a ride on board with him. That was quite a wild-looking ride that he took. Let's see what he saw through the cockpit view. Oh, you see it right there trying to get it down off the wall. Makes pretty significant contact with that. Looked like it was one of the team PGR drivers. They see the 57. Another driver making a couple big hits for the 57. Let's go back live up front. Check out your top 5 currently leading the way. Here he is. We saw him back just like that. He's out in front. It's going to be Ken McCall Jr., Steve Korsak. Didn't take long for him to get back up there. Richard Sanchez, James Kaufman 4th. And 5th is Cody Niegels. Braxton DeWeese just outside the top 5. So is Ian Martin and Zachary Lima. Ron Morris Jr. 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is another McCall Motorsports driver, and David Sheets. Ken McCall Jr., while he does have a decent amount of teammates in the field, doesn't really have any too close. Let's go see if maybe we can get a word. Your current race leader, Ken McCall Jr. All right, and I am here with your current race leader, Ken McCall Jr. Ken, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you do have a pretty decent amount of teammates in the field tonight. Unfortunately, there's not really a lot that are close to you right now, so how are you going to be able to get the win here?
Try to stay out front. That's all I can do. I got some good pushers behind me. Just going to have to see how it plays out.
So we've kind of talked about the topic of blocking here a little bit. I know you are one of the drivers that would not throw any malicious blocks by any means, but if you have to do anything, are you thinking about blocking, or do you pick a lane here and just stick with it?
I'm not going to block if they got a huge run, but if I need to move up to the middle or wherever I need to go to try to win this thing, I'm gonna make it happen.
All right, thank you. Good luck. Hopefully you can finish this thing off, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that was your current leader, Ken McCall Jr. You see it there. Pace car lights are off. You know what that means. We're going green this time. It is going to be a 3-lap shootout. We are not in overtime just yet. So these guys are going to have at least 2 laps. If they do decide to wreck, to still get a caution. But you heard it there, Ken McCall Jr. Stay up front. That's everybody's goal, but he's one of the drivers that knows how to do it best. Easily one of the veterans in money racing. But I really like some of these drivers I see up here. Cody Niegels, Steve Korsak, Zachary Lima, Ian Martin, Braxton DeWeese, all these guys, such strong runners. We have a strong field tonight. And get your picks in now. Who is going to win it? It's been a good night of racing so far. If you are just tuning in, get comfortable. You're gonna have a 3-lap shootout to watch here to decide this thing. It is PGR Money Racing's Thursday night Intimidator Superspeedway Series. PGR owner Michael Triscaro in the field tonight, currently sitting 11th. The 34 PGR / Ghost Racing Network machine. We appreciate all the Team PGR guys for slapping Ghost Racing Network on their cars. Intensity is really ramping up now. If there was any give and take before it, it's all become just take now. Ken McCall Jr. is going to have to fend off a charging Steve Korsak and James Kaufman. But I'll tell you what, Richard Sanchez has been a very good pusher. We saw him get Steve Korsak all the way to the lead last time. We'll see if he can keep Ken McCall Jr. in the lead, or does he try to somehow get the lead for himself. Either way, we'll find out next. Green flag is back out. 3 laps to go at Talladega. Really good jump for this inside line, and you see them stacking up already. They've lined up nicely. Oh, further back, looks like Matt Lee maybe missed a gear or something. These guys all shuffling to avoid him. Looks like they do. We do have one spun around, though, because of it. That's going to be Sean Corbett in a 666. That car is destroyed. He's going to need a caution here, but back up front, Richard Sanchez makes the move. Cody Niegels with him. So is Steve Korsak. Mark Vondell now wrecking farther out back. We'll keep it up front as there's no caution yet. Oh, now we got one in the wall. They're wrecking. Got multiple guys in this. Wow, huge hits. The 65, Curtis Rogers. The 06, David Sheets. The 167. This one's a mess. And it is going to take us a while to clean this one up. A lot of different guys were involved. Curtis Rogers going to need a fast pair. Ian Martin. Braxton DeWeese has damage. The 167, William H. Scott, absolutely toasted. Mark Vondell's destroyed, but this is from a different wreck that happened a little bit earlier. And I'll tell you what, Richard Sanchez was able to get the lead before all that started happening, but that may have happened. We don't know exactly where this happened, so let's go back and try to find out. You see, here's what I want to do. I want to back this up all the way back because there's just so many different things that happen on this restart. So let's start with this initial restart where Matt Lee is going to have some sort of issue back here. I'm not sure if he missed a gear or what. This is going to cause Sean Corbett some issues. Here we go. Let's take a look at it. You see Matt Lee jumps to the outside here. Oh, makes contact with the 06, back down to the 66. And Sean Corbett not able to get it locked down in time. Big hit into the inside wall. Destroys the front end of his Toyota Supra. And then we can go back to Mark Vondell, who's going to be involved in this next incident. Oh, and those are two teammates getting into it, it looks like. So it's going to be Sean Hill that initially spins. Let's see if we can maybe find where Sean initially spins here. Here we go. You see the 12 machine. I don't know if you can see it 3 wide further back. Only car currently 3 wide in the middle. See what happens to him here. Oh, looks like the 65 Curtis Rogers is going to come up, tags him. That sends him down into the infield. And this is where you see gets in the infield. You see the smoke sliding back up. Goes right up into his teammate Mark Vondell. That sends Mark up into the wall. It looks like the 04 Matt Lee gets even more damage from it. Now this is where it gets interesting because this is where things are going to start to happen up front. We're going to pause this. See, it looks like the first car turned around and it's going to be either Braxton DeWeese or Ron Morris Jr. Well, that's an interesting angle here. Let's see if we can figure out exactly what went wrong right here. Braxton DeWeese shoots the middle here. The 34 Michael Triscaro, is going to give the 76 a push right into Ian Martin. That turns him around. Can't push the pusher. 34 when he hits the 76. That turns the 76 up into the 15. Braxton DeWeese on the outside wall. Boy, I'll tell you what, Zachary Lima, my goodness, look at the job he does to stay off. Ian Martin spins around. Then the 15 coming back down the track. This is where some of these guys start hitting hard. Watch this. Ian Martin down to the inside wall. Curtis Rogers back up the track. Big hit for the 98. Big hit for the 65. The 06, David Sheets, the 167. Oh, wow, it looks like the 65 actually got a little bit of airtime. Gets back down on all 4. But I want to ride on board here. I'll tell you what, we can actually, before we do that, let's look at it one more time so everybody can see. Do it from TV1 view here. Watch what happens here. See the stack up effect. These are guys not being able to all check up in time. 76, boom, into the 15. And it's on from here. Braxton DeWeese has it locked down. He made contact with the wall, though. That car definitely going to need some optional. Maybe even use his fast repair. Yep, I'm going to say that thing's a fast repair looking at the right side of it. I do want to ride on board, though, here with Zachary Limas. It looked like he did a heck of a job getting through it. So let's go to his view here. We'll ride on his roll bar. Let's ride with his gyro cam. No. Yeah, roll bar. Here we go. So we'll back it up a little bit more so you can. I want you to watch this initial miss. This is the one that I don't know how he did this. Wow, the reaction time from the driver, the 13. Boy, he must have had a Red Bull before the race or something, because your hand should not be able to move that fast, but sure enough, they did. He's able to save himself from getting any contact. It's going to play dividends because now he won't have to worry about going to the back using a fast repair. Let's go back live now, where we should hopefully be getting one to go this time. Top 5, Richard Sanchez, Cody Neagles, Steve Korsak, James Kaufman, and Ken McCall Jr. You saw that we had kind of cut the different camera angle as we were watching all the chaos that was going on that lap. But when we came back, you saw how Ken McCall Jr., they made a move on him. Richard Sanchez was behind him, went right up top. Ken McCall Jr. had no help, was falling back. Ken does have Ron Morris Jr. Oh, it is one of his teammates up there with him now. But after that, he is going to have a little ways. As rest of McCall Motorsports just not having the best night so far. So it looks like Alan Art Images is cracking up. at the announcer saying airtime. Well, that's what it was. I mean, I don't know, man. But these guys getting some crazy wrecks in iRacing. I'll tell you what, we saw one about a week ago, or no, it was a different, where Ambrose Knievel was actually one of the, I'm not sure what wreck it was, but the way it was in the trial, and the way he had hit the car in front of him, it had ramped him up, and it looked like the air caught the car, even though, you know, I don't think the air really affects these when you start flipping, and it just drove him straight into catchment. It's one of the wildest laps that I have ever seen. Crazy stuff. That's what you get, though, when you watch these money races. Nash Brambilla says, crazy lap, amazing camera work, showing everything, Austin. Thank you so much, Nash. I appreciate that. By the way, congratulations on that win last night. Nash Brambilla getting it done in the street stocks. We're in Ian Martin's ISSL League. Or Money Racing Series, rather. Now we are officially in overtime. Let's go over the rules just in case you forgot about them. It is going to be a 2-lap shootout to decide it. We can do it as many times as we need to. Rules for it, though, are as follows. If the leader is able to take the white flag under green, we will finish this thing off under green. However, if the caution flies before we reach that white flag, we'll rack them up and do it again. If you guys like what you're seeing tonight, don't forget, give us a like, follow if you're new. I think I'm going to start only saying it once or maybe twice, because there's no point spamming it. If you guys actually are enjoying what you're seeing, you'll let us know, and we certainly appreciate that. Pace car pulls off. Richard Sanchez is ready to go. Steve Korsak going to be the pusher. I think that would be my favorite right now. Steve Korsak, very aggressive pusher. We saw him get the 03 to the lead earlier when they were 3x3, but Cody Neagles going to try to hold him off on the outside of 25. James Kaufman, Zachary Lima all the way back up here. We'll see if he decides to jump high. Will the Team PGR drivers go with him? It's going to be wild. It's going to be fun. Here we go. Green flag back out. 2 more laps at Talladega. Big jump on this inside, that outside. I don't know if they just didn't get going, if they're trying to stack up. Oh, they're wrecking further back. Oh, caution is back out. Oh, no, we have an early mess right here. The 98 is back involved. The 65 also in it again. Mark Von Dell, Curtis Rogers. Oh, no, Braxton Deweese looks like he's just going to tow it. Oh, hoping that 15 maybe had a faster pair left. Hoping that did not just end his night. A little surprised to see him tow it here. We'll get back to it, but let's go see what happens here to bring out your 4th yellow of the night. We were not even able to quite make it to turn 1 here. Wow, and this is going to start pretty early in the restart. Let's try TV2 here. Let's take a look at it. We'll ride a little faster. So this is going to be Michael Eden there in the 18. You see Braxton Deweese in the 15. It's going to start somewhere around here. And you see, oh, a little stack up 18. Not sure, maybe missed a gear or something. We'll check that out in a minute. But here we go. Braxton Deweese is going to take full advantage of it. Drops to the low lane. Let's go to the chopper so you can see. 15 is there right now. So far, so good. You see Braxton getting his way in here. Braxton, oh, you see the 65. Curtis Rogers starting to wash up a little bit. Back this up. I want to take one more look at it. And this is kind of a racing deal. It's hard to say. You know, I know looking at it, the 65 still has about a lane and a half to go down, but from his view, he might only think there's that one car on his outside, and of course expecting them to move up. Either way, though, looks like the 15, maybe 65, I'm going to say, just creeping up a little bit. Makes contact. 98, nowhere to go. That turns Braxton Deweese around. 65, hard hit. Braxton Deweese gets T-boned by Mark Von Dell. That car gets up in the air. The 16, Jimmy Crow is going to get involved as well. Chad Ross had big damage behind. I'm not sure if he has had that or if that's something new. If that's something new, he must have hit something pretty hard here. Let's see if we can see if this was from this or something. No, he started this with that damage. I'm surprised to see him out there. Here we go. Watch it all happen right here. Boom, there's the contact into the wall. And they piled up pretty quick. These guys get up to speed. You wouldn't think they were going that fast at that point, but sure enough damage to get the job done. I want to ride on board here with Michael Eden. If he potentially missed a gear, I'm not sure if he did, but if he did, that may have been what initially caused Braxton to drop low. So let's see if we can hear anything here. I want you guys to take a listen and watch that RPM meter. And did it really look... Didn't look like anything too out of the ordinary there. Definitely doesn't look like Michael did anything wrong there. Doesn't look like he missed. Nope, did not miss a restart or did not miss a gear by any means. So just a pile up. Guys further back going for it late. Braxton Deweese, he knows he's got to go. He tried. Let's see where he's at now as we're going to go back live. Unfortunately, it looks like the driver of the 15, Braxton Deweese, has retired from the race. Josh Bonwell also out of the race. So is Jay Degart. Matt Hutchinson on pit road. Sean Corbett. Looks like his day might be done. Sean Hill, he's retired. Braxton Deweese, as we said, is out. Curtis Rogers in the 65, he's retired. Matt Lee looks like going to be the last car still out on track right now, the 22nd position. You see he's still got a lot of damage. But what we can do is go back up front. And I would maybe go check on Richard Sanchez, try to get an interview with him, but I think he's thinking about a lot of stuff right now. He just saw how crazy these last two restarts were. And these guys are going to be going at it now, slowly starting to turn into a race of who doesn't have a damaged car. Not quite the way yet, as it looks like we still have 20 solid cars still running. And it's top 5 changed up a little bit. I'll tell you who is the biggest gainer from that. It's going to be Ken McCall Jr. in the 03. Top 5, though, as it runs, Richard Sanchez, Steve Corset, Ken McCall Jr., Cody Neagles, and James Kaufman. Ron Morris Jr. just sitting outside the top 5. So is Zachary Lima. And I think if we would have went green, Zach very well would have got himself inside the top 5. Remember, it is top 5 payout tonight. John Ward says, actually, let's go up a little farther here as I have missed some of these comments. Chris DeWeese says, GZ Pete's, the spotter would have said stay low. Yeah, sometimes that's one of them deals. Just sometimes maybe not listen to the spotter in these events. Like I said, the 65. I know it can be upsetting, but you got to think about the fact maybe he's thinking that 15 was the only car next to him at that time or something. Either way, sometimes part of this super speedway racing can get very frustrating, though, nonetheless, for some of these drivers. John Ward says Austin is the best. Chris DeWeese says great broadcasting, good racing. And I think those two statements go side by side. Thank you so much. And also, yeah, the racing's making this a lot more easy to commentate because these guys have been putting on a show from the drop of the green. And if you're just joining in, you're watching the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series here on Ghost Racing Network with the Green Ghost. Of course, tomorrow, Ghost Racing Network heads over to Dale Cup Superspeedway Series. Very excited for that. That is going to be the first race of that Superspeedway Series that will be broadcasted on Ghost Racing Network. You'll see a couple stars from this one. Steve Korsak, Zachary Lima, maybe Richard Sanchez. I'm not 100% sure on if he's in that. If you see these guys up front in this race, you better believe you're going to see them potentially up front in tomorrow's race. Don't miss out on it. We will be interviewing your top 3 after the race as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. John Ward says, let's go, Ken. Ken's got a teammate to his outside now, and Ron Morris Jr. We'll see if he can do it. John Ward, of course, one of those McCall Motorsports teammates. Hopefully we can see you out here soon again, John. I'll tell you what, we put a poll out earlier. Let's end it. We said, do you guys think Ken McCall Jr. is going to get the win? Of course, I did put this out while he was in the lead. And it looks like 66% of you said no. 33% said yes. And I think Ken would still like his chances. 130, you telling me could get the job done. Pace car is getting ready to pull off. He's going to grab some popcorn, watch these guys go at it for the last 2 laps. It is our second overtime. I don't know if we have a limit on overtimes. Didn't see that in the flyer anywhere, but I could be missing something. Hopefully, I don't have to worry about checking it because hopefully these guys can finish it off under green. Either way, though, everybody's going to be going for the money right here. Richard Sanchez, Steve Korset, Ken McCall Jr., Cody Neagles, James Kaufman, Ron Morris Jr. That's your top 3 rows. Into the Geico restart zone for the final time. Green flag is back out. 2 laps to go at Talladega. Better restart this time from the outside. Steve Korset, Cody Neagles have lined up. But James Kaufman, as the veteran pusher of Ken McCall Jr. on his bumper. We'll see if they can hold him off. And this outside is going to have their biggest run down the backstretch. That's when the bottom really has to try to fend it off. Cody Neagles is locked on, but so is Ken McCall Jr. Can the outside get enough? Steve Korsak has a run right now, though. The 5'10" Richard Sanchez is hanging on. James Kaufman had to bail out of it a little bit. We see Ron Morris Jr. 3 wide up top. He's got no help. Zachary Lima shuffled him out. Out of turn 4. If we take the white flag, no more cautions. We'll see if we can get there. Side by side into the tri-oval. No 3 wide except for way deep in the field. The 5'10" Richard Sanchez hanging low. Steve Korsak up top. Now we see a run from the 78. White flag in the air one more time. Richard Sanchez, Steve Korsak still 1-2. That outside line, Team PGR is trying to get it going. Doesn't look like they have any help right now. We'll see if anybody else decides to jump out. But right now, the field staying 2x2. Further back, looks like somebody got up into the 04. Ambrose Knievel down the back for the final time. Steve Korsak trying to nose out in front, but it's still Richard Sanchez. Ken McCall Jr. pushing with everything he's got left in the 03. These guys not worried about blowing up anymore. It's pushed to the checkered. Into turn 3, the 6 lining up for one more shot at the 03, trying to hold the 5'10". Oh, the 6 gets turned around. They're wrecking out back. It's going to come down to a 3-car battle. Steve Korsak, no help. Ken McCall Jr. trying to push the 5'10" out in front to have a chance at it. Steve Korsak trying to side draft as hard as he can. Into the line, the 5'10" of Richard Sanchez is going to win it, Talladega. And I'll tell you what, how about the finish for second? Steve Korsak was somehow able to beat the 03 to the line. But what a win from the 5'10" of Richard Sanchez. Gets it done. The Intimidator Superspeedway Series. And he picked the right night to do it because it's pretty big payouts tonight. And of course, we are going to get interviews from your top 3 momentarily. But let's go back and check out this finish. Let's start in turn 3 where things really started to get chaotic all of a sudden. Let's see what we'll do here. We'll go to the white flag lap. Let's go to where these guys start wrecking. That's what I think I'd like to do. Take a look at it here from TV2. I saw Cody get turned around. I wasn't sure initially who spun him. Oh, and it's already going to happen, so let's back this up just a little bit more. You see just how packed up Zachary Lima's going to try to push this 6. Gets him. I think he's going to hook him just a little bit in the left rear. I can't tell just yet, though. Oh, actually, no. Maybe slight netcode off the 25 is what it actually looks like. And that sends the 6 around. Either way, whether it was slight contact or netcode, sends the 6 around back up into Zachary Lima. Takes a, wow, big hit from the 13. 6 spins it around. And then they just pile up from here. Wow, look at the 6. Gets a good view of the roof to the fans. The 6, Danny Eshelman. Wow, very wild wreck here at the end. And both 6 cars look like they ramped over. I'll tell you what, let's go the leaders here. Right here. Should watch this battle for second because this gets a little wild. Watch these two. Richard Sanchez at this point has it locked down. Steve Korsak does not give up on the side draft. Gets a huge pull all of a sudden off the 03. Carries that little bit of momentum he's got right to the line. Just edges him out. See your margin of victory for the winner. Take a look at it right here. There you go, by plenty of room. Tell you what, let's go get interviews with him. We'll be right back. And we are here with your third place finisher, Ken McCall Jr. Ken, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, how about it, man? You come home third. It looked like you were going to maybe bring home a second there. Steve Korsak just was able to inch you out. But what did it take there to finish off in third here at the end?
By all the wrecking behind me, it looked like just not getting wrecked was the way to finish third. Didn't have no teammates up here with me tonight. They all got caught up in some mess there. I think Ron was the closest teammate there, and he couldn't never get up there to my bumper. I think I was surrounded by some teammates there at the end, which is never a good thing when you're by yourself.
Well, it was a good finish either way. Congrats on the third place finish. Before we let you go, there's anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank the team, Color Motorsports. These guys do a good job over here. Thank all the family and friends for watching, and thank you for doing the broadcast, and thank them for putting this race on.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is your third place finisher, Ken McCall Jr., bringing it home in the 03. And now we're going to head over to your second place finisher, Steve Korsak. Steve, you got a copy?
I got you.
Well, boy, that was impressive how you managed to beat the 03 at the line with no help. Looked like you were side drafting the absolute heck out of him. How'd you get it done? How'd you bring home second tonight?
Yeah, just exactly what you're saying. I just had to lay my door on him and hope that I had just enough to carry by, and I did. And yeah, I was working with Rick tonight. He was part of our team, and I was just trying to hold it down there. We ended up getting the 1-2, and it all worked out. I feel bad for lineman Cody. It looks like there was a bad net code in turn 4, and they got taken out. But proud of the team. They were dominant all night. It was a good run for us.
It was a certainly good run for you. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank or shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out Ghost Racing Network. Shout out the PGR, and just again my team Dale Cup. Zach Lima, Cody Nagels, Rick Sanchez, and Jimmy Crow. It was fun.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is your second place finisher, Steve Korsak. And now let's go to your winner, Richard Sanchez. Richard, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you got it at the line there. It looked like, I got to think you were feeling pretty comfortable there. Once you got into the trial, you saw those two racing behind you. What were you thinking there coming to the line?
I was contemplating pulling out to see if I could pull Steve ahead to second place, but he got it done on his own, it looks like.
Well, either way, you had a good run all night. What did you have to do to get yourself to the front late in the running there and finish it off?
Just a little bit of luck. You know how these speedway races are. You got to be in the right spot at the right time, and it just worked out for me. And I had some good teammates around me with these guys. So.
Well, it looked like it definitely worked out well. You're going to be going home with a pretty good paycheck tonight, as we had such a big field. Before we let you go, though, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
To PGR for putting on a good race, and Ghost Racing for putting on a good show for us, for everybody out there. Really appreciate it. And the guys here at Dale Cup for letting me run with them.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is your winner. Notice how your top two are both Dale Cup drivers. We'll see if they can continue that streak tomorrow. Richard Sanchez comes home first. We will let them go. A couple things to wrap up. Let's go over your final results for tonight. Winning was Richard Sanchez there in the 510 machine. Coming home second is going to be Steve Korsak. Third, Ken McCall Jr. Fourth, Michael Triscaro. Fifth, J.R. Miller. Sixth, James Kaufman. Seventh is going to be Michael Kirk. Eighth, David Sheets. Ninth is going to be Jimmy Crow. How about that? I didn't even notice that. Ninth place, Jimmy Crow. Good recovery. 10th, Chad Ross. 11th, Matt Lee. 12th, Mark Vondell. 13th, Ambrose Cadibel. 14th, Ian Martin. 15th is going to be Danny Eshelman. 16th, Michael Eden. 17th, Ron Morris Jr. 18th is going to be Mike Davenport. We'll keep going as we had a big field tonight. 19th is going to be Cody Nagels. 20th, William H. Scott. 21st, Zachary Lima. 22nd, John Mullahan. 23rd, Curtis Rogers. 24th, Braxton DeWeese. 25th, Sean Hill. 26th, Sean Corbett. 27th is going to be Jay Dargert. 28th, Matt Hutchinson. And rounding out the field, 29th, the driver who was not able to start the race, unfortunately, Josh Bonwell in the 56. That is going to wrap up our coverage tonight here. PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series on Ghost Racing Network. Can't thank everybody enough for coming out. I hope everybody did enjoy. Don't forget, we'll see you tomorrow during the Dale Cup race. Catch it here on Ghost Racing Network. Have a good one.